Is the United States really building a Golden Dome missile shield to defend the homeland? And if so, will it work? Or is this just another trillion-dollar illusion that will make us poorer, not safer? Hi, I'm Steven, your news broadcaster, and this is News Chat Today, where we break down what's really happening behind the headlines. If you're tired of flashy sound bites and political spin and just want the facts and hard truth, you're in the right place. Let's talk about what's being billed as America's most ambitious defense initiative in decades. The Golden Dome. Announced by former President Donald Trump with his usual mix of bravado and bold promises, the Golden Dome for America is being sold to the public as a game-changing missile defense system, a shield in the sky that would supposedly protect every corner of the continental United States from nuclear, ballistic, and cruise missile attacks. Sound familiar? It should. Back in the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan pitched something similar. It was called the Strategic Defense Initiative, better known as Star Wars. It promised a futuristic shield of satellites and lasers that would stop a Soviet nuclear attack before it ever touched American soil. But after decades of testing, hundreds of billions spent, and no credible operational results, it was shelved. Now here we are again, 40 years later, staring at the same idea, only with a shinier name and a much bigger price tag. According to Trump's plan, the Golden Dome will consist of space-based interceptor weapons, heat-seeking satellite sensors, artificial intelligence-driven targeting systems, ground-based radar, undersea surveillance equipment, and airborne early warning platforms like the E-7 Wedgetail. The Pentagon says it would create a seabed-to-space defense grid able to detect, track, and destroy threats before they ever reach our borders. Sounds impressive, sounds secure, sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. But that's the problem, because that's exactly what it is. Let's start with the scale. Israel's Iron Dome system, which this project is loosely modeled after, is designed to defend a country about the size of New Jersey. The United States is over 400 times larger. And while Israel deals with short-range rockets from neighboring regions, the U.S. faces potential threats from intercontinental ballistic missiles launched from oceans away. Experts in defense and missile technology are already ringing the alarm bells. Jeffrey Lewis, a leading missile expert at the Middlebury Institute, said, "Building a Golden Dome for the U.S. is like comparing a kayak to a battleship. The systems we'd need are orders of magnitude more complex and expensive than anything ever built." And let's talk about the money. Trump claims the project would cost $175 billion. But the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says otherwise. They estimate that even a limited version of this system would cost $542 billion over 20 years. And that doesn't include the full scale required to defend against Russia or China. Senator Tim Sheehy of Montana didn't mince words. He said the quiet part out loud: this would cost trillions. And where would that money go? Not to our troops, not to strengthening veterans programs or reinforcing critical domestic infrastructure. The real winners here are the usual suspects: Lockheed Martin, SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, the titans of the military-industrial complex who stand to rake in billions in contracts. It's no accident that SpaceX, run by Elon Musk, is already being reported as a frontrunner for Golden Dome contracts. These companies are lining up to cash in, even as the Pentagon quietly cuts back the office that's responsible for testing whether these systems even work. That office, the only truly independent weapons testing body in the U.S., is reportedly being dismantled to avoid scrutiny and delay. Think about that. The very team responsible for making sure this system is reliable in a crisis, they're being sidelined. Why? Because, according to an unnamed official, this program needs to succeed for Mr. Trump. That's not national security, that's political theater, and it's incredibly dangerous. Because while we're busy building a flashy shield in space, our adversaries are watching closely. And what they're seeing is a reason to ramp up their own weapons programs. Russia and China are already pouring more money into hypersonic glide vehicles, stealthier submarines, and more survivable missile launch systems. Not because they want to, but because Golden Dome sends them a message. The U.S. is preparing for war, not peace. So instead of creating a safer world, Golden Dome is provoking an arms race. And the technical side? That's another red flag. Space-based interceptors would be sitting ducks for anti-satellite weapons. China already has the capability to destroy satellites in orbit. Russia does too. And once one layer of the Golden Dome is gone, the rest is compromised. It's like building a castle made of glass and calling it a fortress. And it's not just analysts and think tanks sounding the alarm. Even within the Pentagon, there's deep concern. General David Alvin, the Air Force Chief of Staff, admitted that the challenge of integrating all these systems, sensors, software, satellites, radars, weapons, into one real-time decision-making network is enormous, and we've never done it before. General Chance Saltzman of the Space Force said Golden Dome would require missions that no military space organization in the world has ever even attempted. That's not a warning, that's a red flashing light. And what's the timeline? Trump wants it operational by 2029, during his second term, if he wins re-election. But defense experts say that's wildly unrealistic. You don't build a project of this size and scope in 4 years. Not when it requires redesigning how the military sees, responds to, and eliminates missile threats across land, air, sea, and space. And here's another little-known detail. Golden Dome is poised to replace the Wedgetail fleet, one of the most advanced airborne tracking platforms the U.S. has. Instead, we'll bet everything on satellites, even though they can't yet do the same job. That means we could be less prepared in the near term while chasing an unproven dream. Meanwhile, lawmakers are asking tough questions. Republicans and Democrats alike are demanding more clarity. Where exactly is the money going? What systems are included? How does this actually protect Alaska or Hawaii or even the mainland? So far, there are no clear answers. The idea of missile defense isn't new, and yes, it's attractive. The notion that we can build an impenetrable shield to protect America from harm is powerful, but history shows us it's a fantasy that's never lived up to its promise. We tried this with Star Wars. We spent $400 billion, and it failed. No operational missile shield was ever deployed. No working system was ever built. And we're still trying to get our current systems to talk to each other in real time. So instead of repeating the mistakes of the past, maybe we should be investing in what we know works. That includes diplomacy, arms control, cybersecurity, reliable early warning radar, proven intercept systems like THAAD and Aegis, strengthening the NATO alliance, and making smart strategic defense investments, not chasing a sci-fi fantasy that only serves the profit margins of billion-dollar contractors. President Trump says the Golden Dome will complete the job Ronald Reagan started. But if history is any guide, this job ends with broken promises, busted budgets, and a much more dangerous world. So let's be smart, let's be strategic, let's not trade real security for a golden illusion. I'm Steven, this is News Chat Today, and if you found this report helpful or eye-opening, do me a favor. Like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit subscribe so you never miss a critical global update. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and keep asking questions.